Hello, Source-er-ers. It's been a long time. Allow myself to reintroduce myself.
Allow myself to introduce myself.
My name is Joey Lombardi. I have 25 years of technology and procurement experience. I spent the first 12 years of my life doing technology, doing IT, hardcore infrastructure operations, and I spent the last 13, 14 years doing IT procurement. I have a lot to say about the topic, I have a lot of passion about the topic, and I want to share that with you and build a community of procurement professionals for the next generation. The last year of my previous videos, I started to get deep into some very, very specific topics. So I thought it would be good, since I've had a long break, to start again, to go a little bit wider, to go a little bit higher, and to reintroduce everyone to the concepts of procurement. And as I onboard new employees and I recruit new talent, I usually start a conversation about what is procurement and what do you really do by saying procurement does two things. We save money and we mitigate risk. That is what procurement does in a nutshell. And I figured I should do a video that says that. I have done other videos about procurement and introduction to procurement, but it's really about saving money and avoiding risk. Now, how does a procurement department, how does a procurement group save money? They negotiate contracts. They look at the market and they see what competitors are potentially paying. They use third-party analysis programs and tools to go out and say, what are most companies paying for like this particular software license or this particular service? And then they use that as a benchmark to negotiate better prices for a corporation. They also, for large corporations that may have acquired other companies, they may look at the usage across the company. Maybe you're using 4 or 5 different products or services. You can consolidate. And if you go to company A or B and say, hey, I'm willing to give you more business, but you got to give me a better rate. These are the type of things that procurement departments do. They look, they research, they negotiate, they save money. What may be confusing to you is how a procurement department mitigates risk. And that is a huge part of what the job is. In a lot of ways, and I say this often, it's probably more important in today's times, in today's business environment, to manage risk than it is to always save money and get to the lowest price. Now, what do I mean by risk? Let's say you hire a company to perform a service for you. Let's say they're unable to do it. If they're unable to do that service, it may cause your company some significant pain. It may introduce risk into their production, their ability to retain customers. So if you are relying on a third party to help you execute something for your customer base and they're unable to do it, that is a massive risk to your corporation or company. It's important for a procurement department to do an analysis about the company's financial well-being, do a cross-analysis on potential customers or other customers that may have used that service to make sure that the company is actually reputable and is able to deliver on what they say they can do. A good example of trying to understand the risk of a company, let's say that you meet with a company and they're great and you really like the sales reps and you like the owners and you like everybody involved and you negotiate a contract with them. But you find out through their financial statements or through conversations, if you're doing your due diligence, that the contract that you're about to execute would be 80% or 90% of the company's total revenue. So now you are the sole thing potentially keeping that company afloat. Your company is the sole entity that's maybe keeping that company afloat and profitable. That puts you in a hard spot to maybe negotiate better pricing later if you know that they can't go down. And if anything else happens, let's say they lose that other 10% of their customers, they may not be able to keep their margins and they may go under. So if you're dependent upon them to provide you with the service and you are the sole reason why they are in business right now, that could be a problem. Another element of corporate risk, and this has been fairly popular in the news over the last 12 years, is supply chain impact. Apple, they partner with a company called Foxconn, and there was a slew of unfortunate deaths and suicides in their factory in China. That made it to the news, and people questioned the working conditions for these poor people in China in that factory. Now, again, it was not an Apple company, but Apple suffered a lot of reputational damage because of the work conditions of Foxconn. These are the type of things that a procurement organization is going to investigate prior to executing a contract and moving forward with a relationship with a third-party business. If you're new to the idea of procurement, or if you are a college student or you're about to graduate and you may be looking into a procurement career, but you're a little unsure, you may be saying to yourself, what do they really do? Is this a good career? Let me assure you that it is a wonderful career path that usually offers a lot of ability to move up and to grow. And while it's not often talked about, it is a critical component for a major corporation. Bigger corporations need good procurement departments to negotiate and save money. And I have seen it. I have a lot of friends that do a lot of interesting things, but I have friends that work for smaller companies that don't have active procurement departments, and they don't negotiate contracts. They are getting involved with large corporations and they just get barrel rolled. And we compare notes and I'm like, you're getting absolutely killed on the pricing of that software license or that corporate service. So procurement is a very important function, especially for larger companies, for all companies, but larger companies will really reap a lot of rewards. And if you are a hiring manager or a decision maker in a business, I would also say if you don't have a procurement department or you are not heavily invested in the success of your procurement department, reconsider that, because a well-funded, well-stocked procurement organization will likely be able to fund itself with the amount of money that it saves you. So it should not be a business cost. In fact, it should be a recovery vehicle, at least for a 5-year cycle. At the end of those 5 years, you may be in a mature cycle where it's harder to squeeze on those suppliers. You've really done a very good job. And then there are other things that you will strategically start to do. You might consolidate your supplier base. You may do other types of negotiations to save money, but it will normalize over time. I am not going to tell you otherwise. But a good procurement department will usually carry its own weight when it comes to cost and expenditure. I have been doing this job for about 15 years. And as a whole, I've been involved with IT procurement and the purchasing of services for 25 years. And it's a great job. I love it. That's why I make these videos. And I want you guys to be informed and hopefully passionate about procurement. So if you have any questions about what procurement is, what we do, and how we could do it better, leave a question in the comment section below. Give this video a like or subscribe. I haven't done these in a while, but I'm really looking forward to getting back into it, and I appreciate you watching this and spending some time with me. Thanks, and I'll be back with another video in about 2 weeks. Have a great day.